How do you explain the sheriff's department not being able to find any cabins when we found 2 of them right there?
I guess I would disagree with the assessment of this property as a cabin. Again, this was built by 12 to 13-year-old boys as a clubhouse. As to the other cabin that you're referencing, I don't know where that location is. I understand that you and the federal investigator went out there, poked around, dug up floorboards, didn't find anything. But then you never advised the sheriff's department or my office where that was located, or let law enforcement pursue that. I guess I would think that if the defense and yourself thought that was a credible lead, you would have contacted law enforcement rather than poking around and potentially destroying important forensic evidence.
Can you talk a little bit about the cadaver dogs? First of all, was there just one dog out there, or were there 2?
There was one dog. His handler was a member of the New York State Police. And again, the dog alerted on one particular spot, and then we removed him from the immediate area. We went back to see if he would return to the same spot, which he did.
And obviously it's been a long time, if anything had ever been there, and I know you say that there's no evidence of that. Would a dog be able to alert if something is that old and had been removed in the last week with all the rain and thunderstorms and everything?
My understanding is that the rain wouldn't necessarily affect it. Again, the passage of time does affect cadaver dogs' ability to detect a scent. And certainly, if an area is disturbed and items are moved, it does affect the dog's ability to detect.
Will you look at the other cabin? I mean, the other one that's out there? I mean, not
Yes.
to this extent maybe, but bring a dog back.
Yeah. I mean, John, again, we're open to all the evidence, and I don't care what the source is.
Right.
If there's a cabin that you or the defense thinks may be related to it, give me a call and let me know.
Let's go back now.
Okay. Well, what I can say, John, is you contacted Lisa Peoples on Sunday afternoon. She called me, and within an hour, I was here personally.
Right. No, I'm not.
I contacted the sheriff's department, and they were here within a matter of a couple hours and had investigators here. When we were provided with a lead, again, from the defense and from yourself, we followed it. As you can see, we vigorously pursued it. Again, if you had contacted us regarding the other cabin, we would have pursued that as well.
Do you think the sheriff's department is capable of investigating allegations that might point to other suspects other than Gary Thibodeau? Are they capable of doing that, of doing a thorough investigation?
I have absolute confidence and faith in the sheriff's department to fully investigate this case. There's been innuendo that the sheriff's department's engaged in a cover-up. What I could say is Mo Todd was not sheriff 20 years ago when this case occurred. He wasn't sheriff when this case was prosecuted. Mo Todd's interest has always been the same as mine, to find the truth. And there's no interest in keeping Gary Thibodeau locked up if he did not, in fact, commit this. First, as a prosecutor, we owe it to Gary Thibodeau. If he's innocent of these crimes, again, if I have evidence that he's innocent of these crimes, John, I would personally move to vacate his conviction.
Right.
Because the bigger concern is my first and foremost concern is always doing justice. If Gary Thibodeau did not commit this offense, then others did. And that means there are people who are capable of this type of crime in our community and who are free. If those people exist, I want to find them, I want to prosecute them, and I want to put them in prison.
Okay, we talk to people like Tyler Hayes, who says that 14 years ago, Michael Borer was bragging to him about how he knew where Heidi Allen was buried. Will you talk to people like that as part of your investigation? Interview them?
And what I can say is we will talk to anybody who comes forward. Again, that individual you named contacted my office earlier this week, and my investigator was in the process of reaching out to him and to others who have contacted our office.
Greg,
Alex.
now that for a long time the sheriff's department denied that Heidi Allen was a confidential drug informant. Now that that's being confirmed, does that cause you to look at some of the 2003 investigation any differently, or could that affect the results of the 2013 investigation?
Okay. In regards to the allegation that Heidi Allen was a drug informant, I can't confirm that at this time. Again, I was not with the office at the time this case was prosecuted. So I am in the process of pulling all of the files related to this case and going through them thoroughly with my Chief Assistant District Attorney. Again, at this point, we have 10 boxes full of reports and statements, which we've begun going through, and we're in the process of gathering all the information.
If she's found to be that she was a drug informant, do you think that evidence should have been given to the defense? And if she was a drug informant and it hasn't been given to the defense, is that something that you're concerned about?
Well, your question's based upon a couple of hypotheticals. Rather than dealing with a hypothetical situation, let me determine what the facts are, and I can respond to that once I know the facts.
So you're saying the official Oswego County Sheriff's Office document that confirms that Heidi Allen was a drug informant could be false?
What I'm saying is, I don't have personal knowledge of that fact at this time. Again, we were just served with a 440 motion, which has caused us to retrieve all the files regarding Heidi Allen and to begin pouring through all the statements and reports. So before I make a statement, I want to make sure of that myself.
Just to clarify, you're not denying that she was a drug informant, you just haven't been able to confirm that for yourself?
What I'm saying is I am not in a position personally to make a statement whether she was or wasn't.
Well, why is the sheriff here today? His office was out here all week. Do you know? Did you talk to him? Did you talk to the sheriff?
Why isn't your editor out here today?
Well, okay. Did you talk to the Sheriff Todd about coming out here today?
I did not talk to the sheriff about coming out here today. I prepared the press release that was put out in conjunction with the sheriff. Again, my initial intent was simply to stay in the office, but again, because of the professionalism that was shown, as a courtesy, I came out here this afternoon.
What is the correct terminology for this case? Is it called a cold case? I mean, is it an active investigation? What do you call this?
Okay, fair question. Sorry.
Okay.
From a district attorney's point of view, no case is ever closed. Even after we obtain a conviction at trial, and even after the appeals go through, we consider every case to be open. If we ever receive information that calls into doubt a conviction, we provide that to the defense. And again, we want to make sure that our convictions are based upon facts and that the right people are convicted. I mean, to that end, last year when this investigation was conducted, Tanya Priest came forward. I was one of the first people in law enforcement that she spoke with, and I forwarded her information on to the Sheriff's Department so we could interview her. And in fact, my office brought her up from out of state. We flew her into town so we could speak with her because there was an allegation that other people might be involved. We pursued that allegation vigorously because we wanted to make sure that we had the right person. And after that investigation was concluded, in June of last year, I personally provided Attorney Bianca, who represented Gary Thibodeau, with copies of all reports and statements that were generated as a result of that, including the recorded phone call between Tanya Priest and Jennifer Westcott, including the videotaped interview of Jennifer Westcott that's recently been made available to the public. The public defenders had this information for over 13 months. There's never been any attempt by anybody to hide this information or to conceal it.
Just to be clear, you are pursuing an interview with Jennifer Westcott, you said earlier, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And has she agreed to do that? Have you talked to her?
I have not personally spoken with
Your
her.
investigator.
Again, an investigator from my office has made contact with her, and we are trying to arrange that interview. She has the same right as any other citizen, John. She doesn't have to come in and speak with us. We can't haul her in, but we're trying to make attempts to speak with her so that we can get to the truth.
What about Michael Borer? Are you trying to speak to Michael Borer also?
At this point, we haven't made any attempts to speak with Michael Borer.
Would it be helpful to offer Tyler Hayes a polygraph test of the affidavit that he given to see where that might go?
Again, I think it's premature to talk about a polygraph of any particular witness. People are coming forward. We want to speak with them. We haven't had a chance to talk with that individual, but we're certainly willing to do so.
And did you say they should call you guys or the Sheriff's Department, or either?
They should call the Sheriff's Department. Again, the Sheriff's Department has been the lead law enforcement agency investing this case for the last 20 years. To make sure that we're not duplicating our efforts, we would ask that anybody with information, please contact the Sheriff's Department.
What number should we put out there for people? If you don't know, that's fine.
Let me double check with the
Sorry.
sheriff to see which number.
Thank you.
You good?
Thank you all.